Hey team, hope you're doing well. Today's topic, I wanted to go over a question that's asked, and that is how accurate is the Garmin race predictor? I think these watches, these race predictors that a lot of these sports watches give us are decent predictors, your race capability, but I don't think that you should place too much emphasis on these particular devices. I was recently asked the question, how accurate do you think the Garmin race predictor is for the marathon? This athlete said he ran a 4:11 marathon in April and has another marathon in October. My head is telling me not to pay attention to any of this and just go off a feel, but I don't want to go too slow if I'm capable of running faster. Definitely going off a feel and using these Garmin sport watches in training is a good tool. But at the same time, when it comes time to race, even when I ran my personal best for the marathon, in fact, all of my best times on the roads or on the track, I never even wore a watch. I know that's strange for a lot of athletes because we are so focused on splits, but when I ran, especially on the roads, every personal best I set on the roads from 5 kilometers all the way to the marathon distance, I wasn't even wearing a watch. And so, but I did pay attention to the types of intensities and types of paces I was hitting, splits I was hitting, for tempo runs and my varied pace long runs I talk about and teach in my courses and in the training plans I have athletes follow. I definitely used my Garmin all the time, okay? But during easy runs, most of the time I knew the distance of my course. I most of the time never even wore a watch because, again, on easy days, you want to make sure that you're just jogging, that you're taking it easy. Again, you're going to relish in those easy days because when it comes time to really do the hard anaerobic workouts on the track and on the roads, you're going to need that recovery time. That's why I always state, especially after these very pace long runs that some of you athletes that are following my training plans and following my courses are doing, you are perfect examples. You know how tough those long runs are, and that's why I say 2 and sometimes up to even 3 days of recovery you're going to need to be jogging grandma pace after doing those long, faster paced long runs because they take so much out of the body. Okay, and I've had athletes over the years state these huge personal bests following this philosophy. I've had other athletes that have made some decent improvements but also displayed some frustration because they felt like they were just tanking and doing those very pace long runs. Yes, there are times where you're just going to feel awful and sometimes you won't be able to even finish the long run. I had plenty of those types of workouts over the years. It wasn't just an easy process of going from a 2:43 marathon to a 2:19 marathon. Plenty of times where I questioned my ability, but in terms of utilizing Garmin's, are they a good race predictor? I think in most cases they'll give you a general ballpark estimate of where you need to be, but sometimes you're not going to be able to run as fast as they predict, and then other times you'll be able to run faster than they predict. And also another good option is to look up race calculators online and kind of get an idea of what type of times you're going to need to run in the shorter distances versus if you're trying to say train for a marathon, you want to run say a 3-hour marathon, find out what you need to run in the shorter distances in order to run that type of time. I'll while I'm on this video, I'll check this out because I want to make sure give you guys an indication of the type of time an athlete that say wants to break 3 hours for the marathon needs to run at over the 5 kilometer distance or over the 15K distance. Let's take a look here. So for an athlete trying to run a sub 3 hour marathon, an equivalent effort in the shorter distances is 1 hour, 26 minutes and 18 seconds for the half marathon. You need to run 38:59 for 10K. And again, you don't necessarily need to run exactly that time. You might go out and run 39:30 or 39:40 for the 10K and still break a 3-hour marathon. So again, these are just guesstimates. And the same with the Garmin race performance calculator. These are just going to give you a ballpark idea. Even for me, let's go off of let's see what the V.02 calculator states I needed to run a 2:19:35 marathon. Okay, that's my PR for the marathon. Let's see what I needed to run and what my actual PRs are. So this V.race calculator, which I highly recommend, states that I needed to run a 1:06:34 for the half marathon. I ended up running 1:07:06 for the half marathon. Says I need to run 30:12 for 10K. I never ran that fast. My personal best for 10K is 31:09. Says I need to run 14:32 for 5K. I did run 14:18. So again, it gives you a guesstimate, but not always. It doesn't always give you the exact types of efforts you need to drop. But also remember, these Garmin race predictors, race calculators, they can never factor in your mental power, your mental capability. There are athletes out there that are much faster and much more capable of running extremely fast over over the longer distances versus the shorter distances. So I do think that looking at the Garmin race predictor and basing it off of the types of workouts you've done in the past few weeks or past few months is still a good tool to give you an indication of what you will need to run. But at the same time, don't think that if you're not hitting the race predicted times that a Garmin is giving you, that you're not going to be able to achieve the particular goal you have. Sometimes you're going to run much faster than what the Garmin race predictor predicts. Okay, and then there's going to be other times you're not going to run anywhere near what they predict. Okay, there's ebbs and flows when it comes to training. So that's my answer. I do think they're somewhat accurate. In terms of answering the question, how accurate do you think the Garmin race predictor is for the marathon? I think that it's much better to plan your training properly, do a proper taper, train significantly faster than your goal race pace, preferably around 30 to around 30%, 25 to 30% of your weekly volume needs to be spent training at or below your anaerobic threshold. Okay, so you want to teach the body to burn what it has much more of, and that's fat, and to conserve what it has much less of, and that's carbohydrate, glycogen. You want to make sure that you can call upon that glycogen storage, carbohydrate storage in the last 10 kilometers of a marathon, so that, again, you can maintain your goal pace or speed up and be passing people in the last 10 kilometers of a marathon. And you're not going to be able to produce that type of result by running 95% or 90% of your weekly volume too aerobically, too easily. Okay, you'll be an extremely strong, very, very superior long, slow distance runner if that's all you do. And again, not every athlete has the goal of qualifying for the Olympic trials or earning a Boston Marathon qualifying time in the marathon. There's some athletes out there that just want to drop weight, want to participate in a marathon and start and finish a marathon. That is a huge accomplishment. Okay, I can't express how much respect I have for athletes out there that are just putting in the work and want to go out there and run their first marathon and be able to start and finish a marathon, even if you have to walk sometimes throughout the marathon, finish the race, get across the finish line and get your medal. It's a great experience. It's such a great event as it is. But there are so many other athletes, and there are a majority of the athletes that watch these videos, they really have specific time goals in mind, and they're using Garmin's and other types of sport devices to help them reach their goals. So again, always go off of feel, utilize these devices, but at the same time, when it comes time to race, you drop down your volume, you've dropped your intensity down, trust your training, and go into the race, run your race, run a negative split, don't be too aggressive too early in the race. And my advice is don't wear a watch, just focus on the race, focus on staying in that group, and focus on the next guy or gal in front of you, and just keep plugging away and keep working to pass those athletes, and run a strategic race. Make sure you're hydrating well before, during, and after the race, especially during the race, so that you don't become dehydrated when it's too late and you don't significantly have to slow down or stop or drop out. So I hope this answers the question regarding the Garmin Race Predictor. If you have any other questions or concerns, leave me a comment below. Like and share these videos. I really appreciate all of your support. I've had this channel for a little over 3 years, and it's not an easy process to grow a YouTube channel. But at the same time, I do it for the love of sharing what I've experienced and hopefully helping other athletes such as yourself to get the results you guys and gals are all out there seeking. So I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you in the next video.